If you're not starting a race with your muscle glycogen stores topped off, you're leaving watts on the table. And no one's going to argue with that. But when should you start your carb load and how many carbs is the right amount? This video is brought to you by Lameda, your one-stop shop to ride faster, longer. Use my code BONK15 for 15% off your next order. Your working muscles run primarily on muscle glycogen at race intensity. That reserve has a limit. Race longer than 90 minutes and you start to hit that limit. The fix to this is to start a race with your tank fully topped up. That's what carb loading is. Done right, it gives you a clear, measurable performance bump, and done wrong, and it adds calories and weight that you don't really need. The performance benefit of starting with extra glycogen has been well documented since the 1970s. Loading muscle glycogen above normal resting values delays fatigue by about 20% in events lasting more than 90 minutes, and it improves time trial performance by 2 to 3%. Below 90 minutes is no real benefit because short races just don't deplete enough glycogen for the extra reserve to really matter. So carb loading is a tool only for races long enough that you'd actually run out of a fuel source. So how much should you eat and when? There's two layers to this. The foundation layer is your daily carbohydrate intake. For cyclists in regular training, the recommendation is 5 to 7 grams of carb per kilogram of body mass per day. And for higher volume endurance training, you should bump that up to about 7 to 10 grams. That's the baseline that most riders should be at daily, year-round. The carb load goes on top of that. So for well-trained cyclists, target 10 to 12 grams of carbohydrate per kg of body mass for 36 to 48 hours before your race. For someone who's 65 kg, that's 650 to 780 grams of carbs. Someone who's 80 kg, 800 to 960 grams. And a few things to know. Limit high fiber, high fat during the carb load. Stick to white rice, white bread, pasta, sports drinks, bananas. The sheer volume of food on a carb load is hard to physically eat otherwise. And high fiber carbs at this volume will give you GI issues on the race morning. And this is the mistake I see so many athletes make before I start coaching them. Taper your training. If you load like this while still riding 4 hours a day, you'll burn most of that surplus before the race even begins. The load works because your training is dropping into pre-race taper at the same time. No last minute panic training. And one caveat, all of this evidence is based on trained male athletes. The recommendations still apply to women, but at the population level, women may need to push towards the upper end of that range to achieve the same supercompensation, depending on where they are in their cycle. We'll cover more of that in part 4 of this video series. And if you're interested in using science to get faster, give me a follow and check out my free training camp on intervals.icu. I'm Coach Daniel, scientist turned cyclist, and I'll catch you on the next ride.